So today's guest is Radio Dave. He's from here in Fort McMurray. He's another local from town. I'm fortunate to have him on the show, as I have been with every other one of my guests. I'm Special Chaos, and this is EDM Talk. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Thanks, man.
Pleasure having you on.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so
It's exciting.
I've been looking around for a lot of locals here recently, and it's amazing how much talent there actually is in this town.
There is a
surprised.
lot of talent here.
Yeah.
It's a wide variety of talent too. It's not just everybody pigeonholed into top 40 or anything.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing everything different here.
It's funny, actually. This show has opened my eyes to it a lot more than I ever thought it would have. I had originally come into it, like I have some basic EDM knowledge, and it's might be a little bit. I don't even know what the word is. Thinking more of myself than I should anyway to tackle something like EDM Talk. But there are guys like you. Like guys like yourself who are into not only house but hard style. And
Yeah.
like I brought on C Dutch.
Oh,
from
yeah,
here
yeah.
in town as
He's
well.
amazing,
right?
man. He's
He
so
is, yeah, excellent guy. Cupid's been on as well.
Oh, yeah,
So
nice.
it's really interesting to see the dynamic group of people. But anyway, so I've noticed like you sent me these 5 killer tracks, and like honestly, I love every single one of them.
Awesome. Glad to hear it.
Can we expect to hear more of like that house sound from you in the future, or is that something that?
Man, like I started probably like I've been trying to produce for ever. Like it's always been in the back of my mind. Basically, when I got out of radio, I wanted to keep because I used to make commercials and shows. I was the producer, right? And I didn't want to lose all those skills that I'd spent so much time learning. So I figured, well, I'll try just getting into EDM a little bit. Well, it wasn't called EDM then. It was just all house music. But so I figured I'd play around and see what I could do, and because I wanted to keep those skills honed a little bit. And so it's evolved such a long way now to where I'm actually at a point where I'm somewhat taking it serious now. Before it was just because I didn't want to lose what I'd learned, and now it's like I think I could do this.
Yeah.
So I started probably really hard trying this time back in July. And I've learned so much in the meantime. So these 5 first ones that you heard are the first tracks that I've put together and figured out since the summer.
Oh, really? So this is all just in the last few months you've produced everything?
This is all brand
really?
new. This is a whole new take, a whole new sound that I've been trying to develop, and it's very niche. I'm very well aware of how hard it's going to be to market, but that was just the way the songs turned out. They had a life of.
Well, that one that you remixed, remind me of the name. Sorry, off the top.
Closer.
Closer.
The hardstyle
Yes,
one.
that's right. Yeah,
That's the latest thing I did.
That was a lot different than any of your other tracks. Can we expect to hear more of that style from you?
I think that's definitely the way it's going to start going a little bit, at least a little heavier in the time.
Yeah.
Because the first 5 were more experimental, trying to find my sound, trying to find exactly what it is I wanted to do. Just playing with the program, playing with the software, playing with different sounds I had in my head. And but I wanted there to be some sort of an underlying mission underneath it. Like music has always been.
Do you think you're gonna stick in one direction, or do you see yourself going off on a bunch of tangents as far as?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to do the hard style worship thing a little more because I mean, God's important in my life. He's got me out of a lot, and so and there's a whole. Like, nobody does that. Nobody's doing Christian EDM. I don't think it exists. There might be 2, 3 DJs that might do it, but to do it in hard style, I don't think that's ever been attempted.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the timing usually in a worship song is always like 75, 150 BPM, so it transfers over so easy to hard style.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try it anyway. I think the first one turned out really good. I'm really happy with it.
Well, it was excellent. So what are you using for hardware when you're making this stuff in the studio?
FL Studio.
Oh, software.
Yeah.
But as far as your hardware goes, are you using do you have like a Moog synth or anything like that?
No.
Or are you just
it's all software right now. I
Okay.
have an electronic drum kit too, which is nice. I've been playing drums before I could walk, which was it really helped with the DJing actually because the timing and the mathematical aspect of it transferred over really well. So I attribute the reason I'm a decent DJ. So, hashtag humble is all because I was a drummer for so long. So I have the drums there, and so they help me to paint them in when I need to get a feel for it. But for the most part, I'm keeping it all keyboard and mouse
Yeah.
until I'm comfortable with bringing other instruments in.
Well, so you started, you say you started with drums and that's what got you into, well, like that's where you found your timing and everything.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started DJing then?
That was probably 8 years ago. So
Oh, yeah.
I got into it pretty late in the game.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, I
About
was
24, 25, somewhere around there.
Okay. Yeah, that's right around my wheelhouse
Yeah.
too. I hate saying it, but yeah.
It's funny because it was about the same time I got out of radio and I started playing with the production aspect of things, and I was just started. Actually, it's so funny because you remember DJ Hero, that video game?
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes,
like
yeah.
I
I
played
never
that.
ever even tried
It's
it.
so much fun, man. It was so
Was it?
fun. But I got it and I tried it, and like it just clicked. Like, this is all this is? It's just putting two songs together. I was like,
Yeah.
so I think I could do this. And that's pretty much how that
Everybody
started.
does.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the click for me, I think. So I started slapping songs together and making mashups and completely bonkers stuff like
Yeah.
Dead Mouse and Incubus, like things that would never go well together, but I tried it anyway. And,
But then you start learning about key signatures and just
Exactly.
understanding what goes together.
Yeah.
It all falls together eventually.
some of it
right?
worked, most of it didn't. But
You know,
anyway,
sometimes I've had some of my best mixes come out of stuff that does not.
Yeah.
You would think does not belong
it shouldn't
together.
work, but it does for some reason.
Yeah, yeah, and then it's just, I thank God that's recorded.
Yeah.
Or if it's not, it's like,
Yeah, I'm never going to be able to recreate that.
Yeah, exactly, because that moment's gone. But yeah, so I noticed on your SoundCloud that you had a lot of like hard sci and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that as like your big inspirations. So I'm wondering where that comes from. Like, where's your big roots? Like, who's the names you go to if you're
Man.
looking for?
Like, it's such a long list and such a long period of time because I was into house music before I even knew it was house music.
Yeah.
Like back in junior high, I'd listen to like Aphex Twin and
Mm-hmm.
Infected Mushroom, like old school stuff and
Oh,
just
yeah.
hard and like those darker sounds and then I was doing I was really into metal. That's what I was. That was my
Me
music.
too. I was a big like Pantera, Korn.
Exactly. I
That
find
was-
that's how
that
it
was-
works.
That was high school for me, right?
And
And,
it
there
was,
was a lot of hard style in high school too, actually, for me.
Oh, yeah?
Well, my cousin had a really great stereo in his truck, so it just like the heavier, deeper,
Whatever it takes.
aggressive music you could put on there.
Yeah,
That
get those
was it.
darker sounds bumping.
Yeah.
That's it. I think it's just guys in high school. But yeah, those aggressive sounds and like the stuff that Aphex Twin could do with, it blew my mind. And like, but I always thought that was a whole other world that I could never be a part of until I
Yeah.
started.
Did you
tiptoeing
ever
around
play with
it.
turntables or anything back in the day?
No. DJ
No?
Hero was the first thing.
Oh, okay.
It's the little plastic platter.
Yeah.
But that was the first one. But then I started on virtual DJ because I couldn't afford anything, but I wanted to make this happen. So this is, I know a lot of guys are, they're kind of snobby about it, but as far as I'm concerned, it's the music that matters. If you can make something good sound with garbage, make it happen.
Everything these days, though, is digital. Like, I started out on turntables, and my turntables have been sitting in my closet up in the top shelf for
Yeah.
the last, I don't even know, like years anyway, right? But they just take up too much room in my studio when it comes right down to it.
Yeah.
And then just a pile of records on top of it. It's nice for having the, like, the digital vinyl, like coated vinyl.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like Tractor, Serato has, right?
Yeah.
And it's nice for that aspect of it, but really, as far as a practical thing that takes up this much of my bench,
It's a lot.
it is, right? And you know, like I can have thousands upon thousands of songs, you know, in a thing this big.
Exactly. It's just convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it started out with virtual DJ. That was I sent some of my mashups, my better ones, and I sent them to the owner of Club Envy at the time,
Okay.
and he loved them. So
Yeah.
he brought me in and made me one of his residents, and so I was a resident there for 6 years or so.
Oh, really?
But I was DJing off the laptop, off virtual DJ. One of the other guys had vinyl, the other guy was using CDJs, and so I was the outsider, obviously.
You
spinning
you
off
wouldn't
the
even let
laptop.
you use the CDJs?
Oh,
or
no,
anything?
no, yeah,
I was like,
Yeah, they did. But
well, that's good,
I
yeah.
had to get comfortable with it.
Yes.
I mean, T-Bone, DJ T-Bone, he's amazing.
Okay.
I love that guy. He's running Black Horse now.
Oh,
He's such a
okay.
good dude. But he saw in me that I wanted to learn, and so he showed me how to use the CDJs, and I learned so much from him, which has just been awesome.
yeah.
So now it's now it's the standard.
Well, you talk about, okay, so like as far as your DJ mentors and stuff go, like, so you talk about that with regards to production, like you've released, like I say, but in my opinion, they're amazing. They're really good, especially for somebody that's only been at it for 5 months. So
Thanks,
you
man.
keep at it, man. Within a year or two, you're gonna have something big.
I really
You're on
appreciate
you're on SoundCloud. I seen you're on oh geez, now I'm drawing a blank. Beatport.
Yes,
and
yeah.
You've you know, I'd assume that that's, you know, one of your good revenue sources for it anyway. Are you finding that you're making money at it? Is it?
Not yet. No,
Yeah.
it's like the thing about it is there's a delay on it too.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see anything for about 2 months after it's
Okay.
released.
Yeah.
So I'm only now just starting to see some thing come.
Residuals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like I printed out and framed my first $1.19.
Hey,
Just 'cause it's so
awesome.
cool.
$1.19. It's $1.19 you didn't have yesterday, right?
Exactly, and like
Yeah.
that was just a big thing for me. Like just because that's recognition for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like to actually be able to make something from the stuff that I'm making. Like I want to be able to do that full time. I think any musician wants to be able
Mm-hmm. Oh,
to do that.
absolutely. Like you know, I've said there's this line that we walk because people don't want you to be a sellout.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I can do something I love doing and make a career at it, wouldn't everybody do that?
That's what
like it's
everybody
like why wouldn't you do that, right?
That's the dream.
So every DJ that's out there, you know, if you get a payday out of it, that's the goal.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So no, good for you. How do you go about promoting yourself? Like, do you just do like Facebook, or are you doing a various methods of promoting yourself to get your music out there?
Right now, it's pretty much just social media. Instagram, Facebook is pretty much it. I'm still trying to figure out that side of things.
Yeah.
I'm more stuck in the production mode now, but I know that, okay, obviously these are turning out better than I thought they would.
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to get this out there?
Yeah.
Like I need people to actually hear it, but I'm still trying to wade through the water on that one. I haven't figured that out yet.
I kind of skirted around something I was going to get at before. With regards to your production, do you have anybody that's helping you out with that? Like any mentors there that are kind of...
Do you know Uberjet?
I'm not familiar.
He does a lot of Melbourne Bounce.
Oh, okay.
He pretty much, him and Will Sparks, they pushed that whole scene.
Yeah, oh, I know Will Sparks
Yeah.
for sure, yeah.
He was, he's like right. Yeah, he does
Oh,
Whistle
yeah.
Bounce.
So you actually, you're in communication with this?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
we
Good for
started
you.
a mentorship program, and he's been helping me. He's not so much helping me with the production aspect of it because he says, you've already got that figured out. Like you're figuring that on your own, but
Yeah.
we need to get you to market. So he's giving me tips and tricks and showing me how I can actually get this stuff out there. Because he's in the same mindset. He's like, this is very niche. I'm not going to lie to you. This is going to be a hard sell. But until the hard sell one anyway. He loves
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
He said he thinks that's going to be an easier get. So I think I'm going to try that for a little.
Well, that 5x5 was on your sound. Is it 5x5? Is that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
So
that's
that was on your SoundCloud. I noticed that you didn't include that in the package that
No.
you sent me. It's got more of a raw feel to it. Is
Yeah.
that something that you're still working on?
It's almost ready. My main issue with that one is like it's using samples from StarCraft. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
That was
the
one of my
dropship
favorite
from
games
Star-
back
Yeah,
in the
me
day.
too. And like I always loved that part, 5x5. I'm like, I just thought that was one of the coolest lines
Oh,
ever.
my god, I
'cause-
didn't connect
Yeah,
the dots.
that's the
awesome.
dropship from
Oh, right on.
StarCraft, which was a throwback to. It's a reference to Aliens, the
Oh, okay.
second Aliens movie with the
Oh,
dropship pilot. So I just wanted to make a song out of it.
No,
So I
that's
just
great.
played with it for an evening, and I made that happen with it. So, but I don't know what I could do with it, like
Yeah.
in terms of licensing or whatever. But I just need to make. whatever it
I
is.
like that retro that people bring into it, especially, you know, once you get into your 30s and stuff and
Yeah.
you're starting to like, oh yeah, I remember this. This needs to be in something.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like my buddy Ram Jam Sam, he's got stuff with Looney Tunes and all. He's a really fun, happy DJ, and it's so much fun to listen to the stuff that he comes out of. I'm like, dude,
Yeah, it's stuff you never
who
think
would,
of.
who would think to? Yeah,
You
right.
never remember it. I mean, I think
Yeah.
a lot of that comes from the radio aspect of it too, like having to make those liners and stuff where you pull old samples out of.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably half of where that came from.
So do you use a lot of samples? Is that a big part of what you're doing? Or are you, like, I noticed, like, there's a little bit of vocals in just about every one of your tracks.
Yeah.
and some more extensive than others. And so are you recording some of these vocals yourself, or are they all coming from somewhere else?
Radio Bounce, the very first one I put out, that's me saying, hit me out with the Radio Bounce.
Okay.
So that's the only one I've put my vocals on yet. There are ones that I'm writing where I want to get to that point, because I can write, but my singing is less than ideal.
We're just going to use Melodyne on this. Just like change it up quite a bit.
So I'd like to get to that point, which is kind of why I also started the hardstyle worship stuff, because the vocals are already done and they're beautiful. Like Stephanie Gretzinger on that song is gorgeous. And so playing with that was a way to see if I could work with an actual vocal track and not just slapping samples down before a drop.
Okay.
Which works.
It does, absolutely.
But I want to, I want to be able to get somewhere where I'm actually putting vocals to stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So you've been at this for quite a while. Do you remember the beginning? Do you remember your first show that you ever did?
Oh, man. Yeah, it was at Club Envy.
Oh, mine too, actually.
Yeah, really?
I opened pretty cozy.
Me too.
What?
Yeah, the white party.
The winter white party?
Yeah.
What?
That Robbie Picard put on?
I was at Special Chaos. I was the opener. Are you kidding me? We didn't even know each other.
Are you serious?
Oh,
Dude,
wow.
that show was like DeCozy playing that night
He did a great job.
He throws his whole body into it when he plays.
Does,
like,
yeah.
That showed me so much. You got to get your body into it.
I never should have been opening for that. I wasn't prepared for it, right? I wasn't skilled enough at being a DJ, and I wanted to, get my foot in the door, right? So I invested some money into it and just made the show happen, between, me and the production team that were involved in it. So
that's so funny.
That's so funny. It's just, like I say, these connections that people first
crazy.
one, we started the same day, for frick's sake.
That's insane.
That's awesome. So here, let me see. Where was I going with this anyway? What do you find is the most valuable tool you have for marketing yourself? So is it just Facebook? You say social media, but
it kind of changes, man. Like sometimes I'll make a post on Facebook and I'll share a mix or a song and it'll explode. Or I'll do one thing. I'll make DJ memes because they're funny to me. And like some of those have just exploded, like getting reshares on Instagram and stuff. So depending on what I'm doing, different avenues help get more results, I think. Like if I want to share a mix, Facebook seems to be the way to go about it. If I'm just sharing tracks, Instagram seems to be the way I go about it. But I'm getting more into Spotify now. I just got my podcast is up on there now, so I'm trying to focus on that a little more and trying to push that side.
Yeah.
So really, I'm just experimenting, trying to figure out what works.
Okay.
Right now, I don't know if any of it is, but I'm having fun trying it either way.
So have you worked with anybody in town here on anything, or do you see yourself collaborating with anybody? Is there
production-wise?
Yes.
I'd like to get to that point. I think because I'm still so early in it, a lot of it is a confidence issue that I don't think I'm there yet, but I want to get to that point.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to, when I'm comfortable enough to go up to somebody and say, hey, what do you think of this? Do you have a take on this?
Yeah. Actually, Cran, do you know Cran?
Yeah.
So they produce an FL Studio as well. Actually, I was fortunate enough, Andrew invited me over to his house I asked to go over to his house, actually. I'm like, would you mind if I observed you in the studio for a bit? And just, he took one of his tracks that he'd been working on for a while, and I just, I got to ask him questions about, how are you doing this? And, he showed me a few different little tips and tricks what a guy can show you in an hour or two, right? So it's nice, especially for such young kids, how skilled they are, right? And I find that's one of the best ways of learning for myself anyway, right?
For sure.
have you been exploring other avenues yourself, like YouTube, or where do you get your knowledge when you're producing?
A lot of it is experimentation, finding out what works.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it has been the mentorship with Uberjacked. He's really been showing me a lot of stuff in the mixing, mastering side of things, showing me how I
Okay.
can stop my sounds from climbing over the top of each other, that kind of thing. And YouTube has helped a lot too. But I find that with YouTube, it gets to a point, you can watch so much, eventually you're just watching TV. Like it's not going in anymore.
Yeah.
So what I find is, like, if I watch like 10 minutes, I'll get inspired with something, and then I'll
Go and practice it.
So,
Yeah.
but if I'm watching hours and hours on end, it's moot at that point.
Yeah, I hear you. I kind of tried doing that. I took time off at the beginning of this year, and I spent it mostly in the studio. Obviously I spent some time with my family and everything else, but it was a big focus of it was learning the programs, and like the VST that I use primarily is Serum.
Serum.
It's very in depth, as if you've ever played
Yeah.
around with it, as any frequency modulation synthesizer is, right? So it was a very in-depth program that I took, and it helped a lot. But like you say, you'd sit there for an hour in a day, and you absorbed 10, 15 minutes of
Yeah.
that hour, maybe, right? So, yeah, it's like I say, if you know Andrew and Kobe, I highly recommend getting to them and talking to them, and
They're good dudes.
yeah, they'd definitely be able to point you in some directions. They have a similar sound to your house music as well, too, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've heard some of their stuff on their SoundCloud. Andrew actually gave me some feedback on the hardstyle one, which was,
Oh, really?
Yeah, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From your Facebook, I've noticed that it seems like fitness seems to play a integral role in your life.
Yeah.
Do you find that that's a good event if you need a break from your music, or what is it just an important part of your life?
It's pretty important now. A lot of it has to do with my sobriety.
Okay.
One of the downsides of this whole industry is was when I first started DJing, I was going in the middle of a divorce.
Okay.
So it was a pretty dark time.
Also a young divorce too.
Yeah.
That's especially
Sucks.
for somebody at that age
Yeah,
too.
it wasn't fun.
But it's
So
never
I-
easy.
I leaned heavy into the music side, which was a great outlet first, but then it turned into the club scene, then it turned into the drinking, then it turned into the sex, the drugs, the whole thing that goes around it, and the music really fell away.
Yeah.
And so fitness now is really one of the tools I use to stay sober and keep focused.
Mm-hmm.
And I listen to everything I listen to at the gym is mixes I've made or songs I've made.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So I
awesome.
can just keep
Yeah.
in tune, listen to it over and over. What can I do better? How can I fix it? So if anything, it helps me get back to the studio when I'm done sweating.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So is it like, do you find that it helps with blocks and such? Like if you're struggling on a portion of a song,
Yeah,
like you can-
absolutely.
yeah.
Like a lot of times I'll make every song that I've put out so far, I've put it out and I upload it to private just so I can listen to it in the headphones. I'll listen to it in the gym over and over. I'm like, okay, this needs to change. Okay, that drop needs to be twice as long. Okay, there needs to be a 4-bar break there. Like stuff I would never hear in the studio when I'm making it because you're in it. You can't see it when you're in it. You got to get outside of it. And then when I'm in the gym focusing on working out, doing my reps, now I'm listening to it, I'm like, okay, this needs to change, this needs to get better, this needs to go drop. All the changes, that's where the editing phase, I guess, really starts.
Yeah.
Is when I'm in the gym.
So what do you do for fun when you're not worrying about music? Like what's your other outlets, or do you have anything else you go to besides the gym? Or?
Oh man, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's work, the gym, and then music when I get home.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Reading, church, spending time in the Word. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all my day.
Oh, good for you.
Every day I'm
Do you have other artistic pursuits at all, though? Like, there's nothing else besides music you go to? Like, you're an artist? Like, I see you have some tattoos and such? Or?
Yeah, I started playing around with a tattoo gun, which was, so that's been fun.
Uh-huh.
But
Oh, you've done some of these yourself?
all these ones I did myself.
really?
Yeah. I
Oh,
did them
awesome.
There's a verse in the Bible that says, he has written our names in the palm of his hand.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to write his name
Oh,
on my
okay.
arm. So it's all different names of God in different languages.
I actually have another I'm not sure if he's Catholic. It's another Christian that I'm interviewing. Gremlin, he goes by.
Oh, okay.
Out of Calgary, Bryce Plant, I believe is his actual name.
I'm not sure his name.
Yeah, so I'm interviewing him next week. Actually,
nice. That's awesome.
So yeah, it kind of got a theme for this week. That's
sweet.
good. Yeah.
Other than that, man, the music is still fairly new this time with the FL Studio. Like I played with Machine, like because I figured being a drummer, Machine being a beat machine would be a way to go. So that was a nice introductory to it. But FL Studio is the first real software that I've actually been able to pour some time into.
Are you using VSTs as well? Are you using like Massive or Serum, or what's your go-to there?
Sylenth have been two of the great ones. I love the sounds that come out of Sylenth.
Okay.
It's very dark and very cool. It's helping me find those different niche sounds that have been coming out, which has been fun. And there's still but I'm just scraping the surface, really. Like there's so many out there I haven't tried yet that I want to.
Are you DJing anymore? Besides your show that you do?
Right now, it's just the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, for now. But I am, now that I have some actual original production, back now when festival season comes around, I'm probably going to try to get out there a little more. I never pushed it before because, even though you're a DJ, if you don't have original stuff, a lot of people don't want to.
A lot of them don't want you there. Yeah, I hear
so
you.
I figured this time, now that I've got some stuff I can actually bring, I'll probably push
Well,
it
5
more.
songs is more than enough of a resume to bring to, like, I know lots of guys that have been DJing for years that are going around that only had 3-4 songs up until just recently. So
Right.
it's definitely, that's what you need. I'd love to say that I'm that far along myself. I only got 1 track out myself, but it's okay. You can tell it's a beginner, right?
It takes that time, man.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, and like I say, you realize how guys think that it's techno music, right? It's just like it's all just 4/4 time. There's
It's
no
so much deeper.
It's just like do you know how long I spent making that drum sound like that? Like, I spent like 3 days working on that kick to make it sound like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Just slapping stuff together.
Wow, that might be exaggerating a bit. You're spending way too much time on a kick. You're spending 3 days at it. But yeah. Anyway, so you said you have a machine as well. Are you versed in using like finger drumming, or like do you have other DJ skills, as it were, besides the basic beat matching?
When I first got Machine, that's definitely how it was going. I was trying with the finger drumming and stuff, and I figured because I'm a drummer, that would transfer over well, and it did. But I don't know, it just took away from my mixing. So I was having lots of fun with it and stuff, but my transitions were suffering. The mixes were taking too long, and so I put it aside and just focused on the mixing, on the transitions, mixing in faster, trying to get more songs in a smaller amount of time. So it's there if I need it, but I found that my mixing suffered as a result of it.
You'd mentioned about mashups as well, actually. So do you do all your mashups if you're going to do your show? Do you do them all in advance, or are you doing some of that stuff on the fly? Like, I know mixing is mixing, but like or I'm talking like half a song's overlapping another one.
Yeah.
Is that something you're doing pre?
When I'm building a mix, I usually have 3 or 4 lists going at the same time. And so I just put out episode 72, which is out on...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How often are you releasing?
I'm trying to go bi-weekly.
Oh, really?
But depending on what's going on, it
That's good,
is
though.
and isn't.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, awesome.
So bi-weekly is what I'm going for.
Anyway, sorry not to cut you off.
No, yeah, for sure. 72 I just put out on Spotify yesterday, or the day before, whatever, it doesn't matter. But so I'm working on the list for 73 now. Basically, I'll hear a song, or I'll have a song that I'm like, okay, this is going to be what I'm going to build this mix around. And then I'll hear another song, or I'll think of another song, well, this would go good here, this will go good here, and I'll build the list that way. So I don't actually practice the thing until I go to record it, but I know in my head, this is going to mix well with this one. This will be a great transition into this. So there is a lot of mashups in that regard.
So how does that work with Spotify exactly anyway then? So like you don't run into copyright issues when you're doing your show, like it's...
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
No,
I was worried about that first, but Uberjack was, this is one of the things that we focused on, was the marketing and getting the stuff out there. He's like, you have a mix. I was like, 69 episodes. We just got it on the Spotify. This is the second one on there. So it's like, well, then you should have it on Spotify. It's like, yeah, but I'm thinking about the licensing. It's like, don't worry about the licensing. Okay, that's somebody else's problem.
Mixcloud's really good for that.
That's what I was using up to that point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everything I have up to episode 69 is on Mixcloud. He's saying, well, Spotify is what people are listening to. So that's where you got to have your music.
Are you releasing it on both those still, or are you
Yeah.
just okay?
Yeah, so now I'm going to put both aspects or both markets out there, which
I'm gonna have to talk to you a little bit about that after the show. I've got a Mixcloud show that I'm doing, and I've been curious. Like, I started doing it on SoundCloud, but I ran into I got permission from any of the artists that I used for the first couple of episodes.
Yeah.
But even that, I had other guys that were they were sampling really heavily from some stuff, even though it was in general most of their own mix, and they were getting pulled down. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna stick to the Mixcloud show and. Hopefully, Mixcloud, like I say, you don't really have issues.
It's been
with
pretty good up to now. I mean, even now it's still great, but I don't know. Getting it's just a little clunky, a little mechanical for getting it out there. And Spotify seems to. So far, it's been working. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. I haven't hit any copyright walls yet.
Yeah. Well, I got to say, everything that you've done so far has been excellent in my books, Dave. I've really enjoyed hearing anything that you've put out, and I'm super impressed that you've done it in such a short time frame.
Awesome.
Like I say, I'm sure I'll come up with more questions to ask you here in the future. I hope I can get you back on the show. Is there anything you want to promote or anything like that?
Man, not really. I mean, I guess the Spotify. Check out the Spotify. The mixes. I'm happy with the way the mixes have been going lately. The podcast, and I guess now I can actually call it a podcast that it's on Spotify. And all my tracks are on Spotify now, except for the Hardstyle one.
Okay.
So that's a free download that's on SoundCloud, which if they want it, they'll have to go there and grab it, I guess.
Well, I already got your artist profile up on twistedwaxrecords.com.
Awesome.
So you can check that out under artist profiles. It'll be Radio Dave. This show will be up on the website, and it'll be up on YouTube as well. It's been nothing but a pleasure, Dave.
Awesome.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Okay.
This is fun.
See you next time.